This is not a story pulled from thin air. In early 2025, following the collapse of the JCPOA framework and escalating proxy strikes across Iraq and Syria, Iran's Supreme National Security Council made a calculated gamble. With Russia bogged down in Ukraine, but still supplying S-400 upgrades and advanced electronic warfare systems, and China quietly delivering DF-21D anti-ship missile technology through back-channel arms transfers flagged by Pentagon intelligence, Iran believed it had finally assembled what their strategists called a layered deterrence triad. Russia gave them the electronic eyes. China gave them the long-range fists. Iran believed it had the will. What they lacked, and fatally underestimated, was the gap. Not a gap in courage, not a gap in numbers, a gap in civilization. A technological chasm so vast that no amount of Russian radar jamming or Chinese missile guidance could bridge it in time. On the night of Operation Persian Reckoning, that gap consumed them entirely. Are you the kind of person who follows real defense news? Because everything you're about to hear is built on real capabilities, real doctrine, and real decisions being made right now. Stay with me. 9:47 p.m. Strait of Hormuz. USS Gerald R. Ford, CSG-12. The Carrier Strike Group is conducting a freedom of navigation exercise, a routine, deliberate, and very intentional message to Tehran following Iran's seizure of 2 commercial tankers the previous month. The message from Washington was calm, measured, and unmistakable. We are here. We are not leaving. Iran's answer came in fire. From 3 separate launch coordinates, the Bandar Abbas naval installation, the Shahrud missile complex, and mobile transporter erectors concealed in the Zagros mountain foothills, Iran unleashed a coordinated salvo that represented the single largest missile attack ever directed at an American naval asset. 58 Shahab-3 medium-range ballistic missiles, upgraded with Russian GLONASS terminal guidance packages, designed to defeat older Patriot batteries. These were not the Shahabs of 2006. These were modernized killers. 76 Haft-tier supersonic cruise missiles, Chinese-origin propulsion, terrain-hugging flight profiles, sea skimming at 15 meters altitude, designed to hide beneath radar coverage. 140 Shahed 238 jet-propelled kamikaze drones, Iran's most advanced version, with Russian electronic spoofing modules embedded in their fuselage, designed to confuse CIWS targeting with false radar signatures. Total, 274 inbound threats. In the bunker outside Tehran, the general smiled. He believed he had just written history. What do you think? Did Iran really believe this would work? Or was this always meant to be a political statement? Tell me in the comments. The answer matters more than you think. Here is a number you need to understand. 1.8 seconds. That is the time elapsed between the first Shahab-3 ignition plume breaking the atmosphere above Shahrud and the Space Force's SBIRS satellite constellation transmitting confirmed hostile launch data directly to USS Gerald R. Ford's Combat Direction Center. 1.8 seconds before the Iranian launch crews had finished their post-fire protocols. Before the general in his bunker had raised his celebratory cup of tea. Before a single missile had reached 10,000 feet of altitude, America already knew, already had trajectory solutions, already had intercept orders queued in the Mark 41 vertical launch cells. Inside Ford's CDC, there was no panic. There were no raised voices. There was only the low hum of cooling systems, the quiet tapping of keyboards, and the cold, almost clinical voice of the Aegis Baseline 10 Air Warfare Coordinator announcing to the room. Tracking 274 contacts, intercept solutions confirmed, batteries released. That's it. That's the whole drama of the American side. Because for Aegis Baseline 10, Fed by the SPY-6V1 radar array, the most powerful naval radar ever built, capable of tracking an object the size of a baseball from 550 miles away. 274 inbound threats is not a crisis. It is a workload. I want you to pause here. Think about what it means that America's response to the largest missile attack in Gulf history was essentially a software problem. Does that terrify you? It should terrify every adversary on the planet. 9:49 p.m. The Strait of Hormuz sky becomes fire. SM-3 Block II interceptors launch from Ford and her escorting Arleigh Burke destroyers. USS Delbert D. Black, USS Cole, USS Gravely. Each SM-3 carries no warhead. None is needed. At closing velocities exceeding 15,000 miles per hour, the kinetic kill vehicle doesn't destroy its target. It erases it. Physics does the rest. The 58 Shahab 3s, Tehran's pride, Russia's upgrade, China's hope, die one by one in the upper stratosphere. Some detonate, some simply disintegrate into a cascade of burning fragments. The Iranian radar operators watching their screens in Bandar Abbas see the returns vanish. First 1, then 5, then 12, then all of them. Gone. The 76 half-tier cruise missiles present a different challenge. Low altitude, high speed, terrain masking over open water. This is where Iran's Chinese guidance packages were supposed to shine. This is where the sea-skimming profile was supposed to blind American sensors. It didn't account for the cooperative engagement capability linking every ship in the strike group into a single integrated sensor network. It didn't account for the F/A-18G Growler electronic warfare aircraft that had been orbiting at altitude since before the attack began, flooding Iranian data links with electromagnetic noise, severing the Russian-supplied mid-course guidance updates to the missiles mid-flight. 76 cruise missiles, suddenly blind, suddenly deaf, suddenly flying on pre-programmed last known coordinates. SM-6 interceptors met them, every single one. The drone swarm was last. 140 Shahed 238s, Russian spoofing modules activated, approaching in a staggered wave pattern specifically designed to overwhelm CIWS point defense. The Law's high-energy laser system didn't care about spoofing modules. Spoofing works on radar. Lasers travel at the speed of light and strike what they're pointed at. 47 drones died silently, their electronics fused before they registered the threat. The remaining 93 that entered the inner defense ring met the phalanx CIWS and the wall of tungsten that follows. 9:53 p.m. 4 minutes and 6 seconds after the first missile launched. Score: Iran 0, America 274. Not one American sailor with so much as a scratch. Not one ship deviating from its course. Did you just feel that? That feeling in your chest right now? That's what deterrence actually means. Drop other in the comments if this hit different. America does not negotiate after you fire at her ships. There is no UN resolution required, no congressional debate, no press conference. The doctrine is ancient and absolute. You drew first blood, we will finish this. At 10:02 p.m., USS Gerald R. Ford turned into the wind. 24 F-35C Lightning IIs launched in pairs, their stealth profiles rendering Iran's Russian-supplied S-400 batteries effectively useless, because the S-400, for all its marketing, has never successfully engaged a true fifth-generation stealth aircraft in combat. Tonight would not be its first success. Simultaneously, from Diego Garcia, 2B-21 Raiders, America's newest strategic stealth bomber, so new that most of the world still doesn't know its full capabilities, were already over Iranian airspace. They had been there for 40 minutes, waiting. Iran never detected them, not once. From beneath the Gulf surface, 4 Virginia-class submarines opened their vertical launch tubes. 186 Tomahawk Block 5 cruise missiles broke the surface in synchronized salvos, their GPS/terrain matching navigation guiding them to pre-surveilled targets with 90-centimeter accuracy. The target list was not random. American intelligence, human, satellite surveillance, and signals intercepts accumulated over 18 months had mapped every node of Iran's offensive missile ecosystem. The launch sites at Shirud, gone. The mobile launcher maintenance depots in Isfahan, gone. The propellant production facility at Parchin, gone. The command and control fiber optic hub that connected Iran's missile force to Russian satellite guidance, gone. The Chinese-built guidance component manufacturing plant outside Karaj that the IAEA had flagged but could never inspect, gone. This is the part that nobody talks about. America doesn't just destroy weapons. America destroys the industrial DNA that creates them. Think about what that means for the next 20 years. Comment below. Did you know the US had this level of target intelligence on Iran? Here is the part of this story that the history books will study for decades. At 10:15 p.m., while Iranian missile bases were burning, the Russian Black Sea Fleet made no movement. The Chinese carrier Shandong, operating in the Arabian Sea 600 miles away, maintained its course and speed. No intercepts, no response, no escalation. Because Russia and China had supplied Iran with weapons, they had not supplied Iran with a suicide pact. Both nations watched through their own satellite networks as 274 Iranian missiles were swatted from the sky in under 5 minutes. Both nations watched as American precision strikes methodically dismantled the infrastructure they had spent years building inside Iran. Both nations made the same cold calculation. This was Iran's war. They would provide condolences, not reinforcements. The weapons they gave Iran were real. The backing they gave Iran was a carefully constructed illusion, and tonight, that illusion burned alongside the missile depots. This is something I want your opinion on. Does this change how you see Russian and Chinese military commitments to their partners? Seriously, let me know in the comments. This is one of the most important strategic questions of our era. 10:32 p.m., 45 minutes after the first missile cleared its rail. The Strait of Hormuz is quiet again. Ford's flight deck is recovering aircraft. Below decks, damage control teams report 0 injuries, 0 damage. The ship's wake carves white foam through black water, continuing its patrol as though nothing happened. In Tehran, the silence in the bunker is the loudest sound in the world. The general who believed tonight would change history was right. It did change history, just not in the way he imagined. Because Operation Persian Reckoning did not just destroy missiles and radar stations. It destroyed a belief. The belief, quietly held by multiple adversaries, that America's military dominance was fading, that the gap was closing, that the right combination of Russian electronics and Chinese missiles could finally tip the scales. That belief is ash now. The lesson is not about American arrogance. It is about arithmetic. When one side measures response time in seconds and accuracy in centimeters, and the other side measures in minutes and meters, the outcome is not a battle. It is a correction. You don't have to love America to understand this. You just have to be honest about what just happened in those 45 minutes over the Persian Gulf. History will remember this night. Not as a story of American glory, but as a warning written in fire and steel to every nation that has ever mistaken patience for weakness. Touch the carrier. Pay the price. If this scenario hit you differently, if it made you think about something you hadn't considered before, that's the point. Share it. The conversation matters. And if you want more breakdowns like this, built on real capabilities and real doctrine, you know what to do.